Hello and welcome to Tell Me in Wrestling, a podcast that uses ignorance and humour to fill the gaps between everyday life and professional wrestling. If you are new to the podcast, we are going to discuss a topic in conversation, and I am going to be told how it works in the world of wrestling. I am your chronically ignorant and chronically ill host, Phil, and I'm here with my tag team, Backdoor to China. Please let me introduce Carl and Dan.
Hello.
Ollie doodly.
Already slipping in the references to the subject matter straight away.
My main event bit is related to what you just introed us as. It is, yeah.
Oh dear, this is this could be the one that gets us cancelled.
Are we sticking with the French intro?
What a subject for the Christmas special, lads, eh?
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, this wasn't
perfect timing.
This wasn't planned as a Christmas special.
Happy Christmas, guys.
Yeah, Merry Christmas.
Yeah, we've been away for a couple of weeks, and everyone was all those Colombians clamoring for us to return to talk about porn for an hour and a half.
I mean, who doesn't want that this time of year?
Exactly, three white men talking about wrestling and porn. Come on,
ho ho ho!
If you're here in this country, you know we've got the fuel crisis. Hopefully, we're gonna, warm you up a bit.
Exactly.
I mean, it'll just be one area of your body that'll be warm.
Yeah,
we're sending them links on the weekend.
I don't think anyone's getting warm from us three talking about this subject.
No.
Fastly.
Well, we'll see.
Unsubscribing.
How are we both doing? Are we all right?
Yeah, I've just gone into hibernation mode, more or less, for the winter. I think that's just what I'm
Don't blame me. It's fucking freezing.
Just gonna hunker down. If I haven't got stuff to do for this, I don't really have anything to do.
Just sit there watching cars sliding down your street.
No life, just
nothing better to do. Just watching Citroen C4s sliding down the hill.
Sliding down the hill outside the house because it's. I live by the coast and it is very, very icy.
No, you should be filming them
after the snow
and then sending them off to the Sun and.
I'm not that cruel.
Getting 250
quid from You've Been Framed.
Exactly.
I like a bit of Schadenfreude, but not for my own nefarious purposes.
Yeah.
I suppose you can't do it too much because then obviously you won't be able to claim your universal credits like you've got.
Yeah, if I was just suddenly I got a massive cash cow of people just going down the hill and slamming into the cars.
Yeah. What do you do for a living? Oh well, I'm an amateur filmmaker.
I'm a content creator.
Content creator, yeah. I'm an influencer.
Could I then use the footage if anyone is wanting to claim insurance for the accident
maybe
or something like that, and be
like, if they license it from you,
if you were
multiple revenue streams. You've got your first revenue stream, which is selling it to You've Been Framed and the Daily Mail. And then the next one is, do you want to get a bit of extra insurance on this? Because I've got the footage that it was actually the Land Rover who crashed into you.
He's a regular Richard Branson over here.
There we go. See,
Cripsome Branson.
Well,
oh Christ!
Thank you.
Oh,
I did get a Christmas bonus from the DWP.
Oh yeah, how much?
£10.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Bloody hell.
Yep.
That'll go to
listen, mate. Don't you spend that all at once?
Do you know what? That's improved my life to the point where I'm just like I'm fine. I can go back to work now. Thanks, government. Really helped. Really.
Hey, listen, £5 of that came from me and a £5 came from Dan. So you are grateful.
Don't go spending it all at once, son.
No. Hey, do you want to cheer us up with a poem?
Do I?
Yeah.
I've got another. I've been a bit lazy for this one. Despite our little break, I've just done another limerick.
Okay.
If you're ready.
Oh. Strap in, guys.
Excuse me. There once was a man named Tony who always went to sleep very lonely. I'll use my dad's spends to buy wrestler friends, and now everyone thinks he's a phony. Enough about Tony's posture, and it's time for Tell Me in Wrestling.
Hey, nice final line there.
There's a very shoehorned final line, and
one of those ones where, did you do a final line? No, right, okay.
We haven't had
quickly.
Tony hasn't been in the podcast for a while, has he?
I know. Well, I thought that, so I thought Let's bring him back and take the piss out of him in the process.
He's cropping up later as well. I've got it on.
Oh, is he?
On good authority. He's making his second appearance in a game that I've done.
Oh, I cannot wait! I'm looking forward to that.
So how many poems is that? How many poems? How many weeks in a row have you done poems now? It feels like, or like episodes in a row, I should say. Feels like about 5 or 6.
4 or 5, I think.
Yeah,
maybe. I think about 5.
Did you start on the live one, which we recorded a half cut?
Yeah, it was the return. The return episode was the first one, and then everyone
the challenge was laid down. Yes,
and they've slowly gotten worse and worse and
lazier and lazier. Yeah. Oh god.
Which is classic for me. Being very boisterous about something I can do, and then just not caring about it anymore once I've proved my point.
It would be interesting to go back and just listen to how excited you were about the challenge that you were going to take on. And
I don't think excited is a word. I think pissed off that it was even a question is the right phrase. Which is why I've continued to do it, probably to my own detriment.
Just bitterly.
Yeah, I'll be honest. It's the easiest way. Like, I used to do games. I used to do all sorts. Just 10 minutes doing a poem, done. Don't have to prep anything else.
Yeah.
No thought, done.
Just make up as you go along.
Speaking of no thought, Dan, what's been going on with your trip to Paris?
It was all right. There's nothing to report.
Nothing to report.
Yeah. No. The last time we checked in with Dan was his driving.
Fast
driving lessons, which took up half a podcast, and then you very excitedly messaged us some news about a work trip to Paris.
So I went to Paris. Obviously, it was for a big Google event, and I was up on my feet for most of the day, bouncing between different lectures that they had on.
In the airport, perhaps, and maybe even start in the shoe shop. Why don't we
in the shoe shop? I flew out on the Monday. On the Saturday before that, I decided to treat myself to some Doc Martens. So,
and can I just say, listener, when he says treat himself, I would say he showed off a bit that he bought himself a Doc Martens in the old group chat. He was, buying a pair of old Docs today. Me and Docky M are gonna get together later.
I mean, there was no get together. I literally bought them and then I didn't put them on until the Monday. I should have worn them in. There's the foresight.
You didn't put them on until you went traveling, and these are very, very tough leather shoes.
Yeah. So in my foolish,
which everyone knows, by the way,
arrogance,
buy new boots, wear them in. So that was error 1. I'm just going to note it on the errors as we go.
Like just mark the clip of error 1 for me, Carl.
Yeah, error 1. So I last bought a pair 10 years ago, and I never had to wear those in. The difference is obviously these ones are hard leather. The ones I bought 10 years ago were soft leather. So 2 completely different types of
error 2.
Yeah,
didn't research his leather.
Didn't read.
Didn't research.
Didn't process information.
Obviously, I had a 1 p.m. flight to Paris from Manchester Airport. Left the little village I live in. By the time I got
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
When you left your front door and walked down the street of your little village, did you do a little jump and click your heels in your little new Doc Martens?
I did, yeah. I was like, I feel so cool right now. Cannot wait to show off at Google with my new Google friends. I was fine. And then I had a change at Stockport to go to Manchester Airport. And as I stood up, that's when I realised I've erred here.
Wait, so you
realised almost immediately?
Almost immediately, yeah.
You walked to a train station.
From Sheffield. No. I was in a taxi from my house to Sheffield Station. Fine from there.
All right. Wait, were you stood up or sat down on the train?
Sat down on the train from Sheffield to Stockport.
How many minutes of wearing these new boots until you realise that you've made an error?
3 hours? 3 hours?
No. Stood up wearing the boots.
I may have only been stood up walking in them for maybe about 15, 20 minutes. No. Yeah, because obviously I probably would have been sat down in the train station.
If you got a taxi to the train station and then got on the train, sat down the train, and then it was when you got to Stockport. I would
Yeah.
probably say less than 15 minutes. Did you get a sandwich? Did you go for a wee while you're in the station?
Yeah. I went for a coffee.
All right, I'll give you 15 minutes.
I wandered around because I think there was a train strike on, so I was making sure I had the right train and everything.
And you needed to break those shoes pretty quickly, I imagine.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. I love. I know we were discussing.
He was
earlier,
walking
it took
around
an hour
like
to do
Basil
the
Fawlty
taxi
trying to
story.
break
We're
them in
already
quickly.
Yeah, come on, guys. Kicking it, just rubbing it. But yeah, got to Stockport and I realised I've erred here. Yeah, I didn't even tell you this bit. So obviously I got to Manchester Airport and I didn't realise that my flight was at Terminal 2. So if you've ever been to Manchester Airport, the train station is kind of like in the middle, and you turn left to go to Terminal 1 and you go right to Terminal 2 and 3. So I turn left because all my other previous flights I've ever flown from Manchester Airport left from Terminal 1. Forgetting this is I'm not going to Dublin or Belfast or anywhere else where I've normally flown from Manchester in the recent past. I'm going to Paris, but completely ignored that fact. So it's like a 10-minute walk from the train station to the terminal. I get to the terminal and I'm scanning my to the terminal, scan my way through, error, speak to somebody, seek assistance. I'm like, oh God, what's going on here?
Did they spot you immediately? We're just like, we can't let him.
So
go
I was like
through
hobbling at this point.
this
I'm like, oh, this isn't very painful. And so I scan it and it goes, you're in the wrong terminal, mate. You got to go to Terminal 2. I'm like, oh, you've got to be kidding me. So again,
did you have to run?
No, I had plenty of time, but it was more the fact that at this point I could feel the skin coming off my feet.
Oh God.
So yeah, and I hobble and I hobble and I hobble, and I eventually get through the security. And if at Terminal 2, there's that was it. Going through security, they ask you to take your boots off.
Yeah.
So if you're wearing
1 second before, when you walked, because I know this airport very well, when you walked from one terminal to the other, did you use the little travelators or did you walk alongside?
The travelators were broken.
Nah, okay.
Yeah, so that was
error 4.
The error.
Didn't think to ring ahead about the travelator.
Excuse me, my feet are killing me. I'm calling from Stockport. The travelator's working. Can you get them on for me, please? Because I'm gonna get.
Just takes a phone call, mate. Just takes a phone call.
Get them on, just especially for me. So go through the security. And at Terminal 2, if you go through security, the boots is straight in front. Once you go through, the security section, the boots is there in front of you. So I was just like,
the shop boots.
The shop. Sorry, the shop boots.
Hallucinating like the boots.
The story about boots. Remember?
Yeah. So as I go through security, they ask me to take my boots off, and I'm like, I'm not taking my boots off.
They ask you to take the shop off or
my Doc Martens off. And I just say to the guys that I'm wearing Doc Martens, mate. They're a pain in the ass to get off, and he just let me through. And I just thought, I mean, white privilege going on
so
right
basically,
there.
you just went no.
Error 5.
I just said no.
Security threat.
Yeah, security threat. I mean, I literally said no, and I'm like, the amount of times when you frustratingly have to, do I have to take this off? Do I have to take that off? And they just ask you to take your clothes off. But you could just say no.
Yeah, if you could just ask nicely, and they'll be like, "No, all right,
okay, fair enough." And I just was like, "Oh, mate, he's a pain in the ass." But the thing is, like, if somebody was watching me from like walking through security and like gone, just keep an eye on that guy because he refused to take his boots off, that have seen me hobble into Boots, grab a load of stuff. I tried to get the compedes. I had to buy the cheap Boots ones because they didn't have the proper compedes, and then hobble into some toilets for 15 minutes as I peel the boots off. And
I was just going to say, have you realised at this point that there's damage?
Oh yes, yeah. I know. I can feel it on my left one had completely gone. Like the back of the skin had come off. So as I took my sock off, the skin had come off with my sock, and I'm like, "Yep, that's great." And so I managed to get the Boots style compedes on the backs of my feet, but I'm like, these aren't staying in place very well.
What are they called?
Compede. Yeah, they're there for blisters. They're amazing. Yeah. Like the actual ones are amazing.
They're really good.
They're really good. And they actually stop any pain. But these ones didn't do anything.
I've worn the same type of trainers for 20 years, so I've never needed them, I guess.
So then I eventually get my shoes and socks back on, and I've just got normal socks on. So I'm like, you know what might actually help this? Some thicker socks. up and down terminal, going into different places. Oh, I go into JD Sports to try and buy some trainers. Don't have any trainers in my size anywhere. And the guy was just like looking at me with sympathy, and I'm like, oh mate, you could maybe try these. And he tries to give me some like leather softener. And I'm like, the horse is bolted, mate. Like,
and as we discovered in the Getting to Know Dan episode, he's got big feet, really big feet.
Exactly,
he does have big feet.
Yeah.
Could you not buy like a pair of football socks from JD Sports?
So I eventually they did, but I thought it's maybe stupid to buy football socks. But in hindsight, I probably should have done. I eventually get some from Fat Face.
In hindsight, it's going to come up quite a few times in this story, I think.
Yeah.
So in Fat Face, I just buy some thick socks, and then obviously jump on the plane, and then I have to, because I have to be up early the following day. I have to wear the same boots. So,
sorry, why are those two things related?
Yeah,
well, because there was no shoe shops. So the following day at Google,
right, no shoe shops in Paris.
Well, no, I mean, I landed in Paris at like 7 p.m. at night, and I met my boss straight away. Went for dinner, and then.
Did you say your flight was at 10 o'clock?
No, my flight was at 1 o'clock.
Didn't you?
But I eventually
left it.
Yeah, I left at 1. Yeah, I got back to. I basically met in Paris.
If you can get there till 7.
I got into the center of Paris by 7.
Phil, the story's falling apart. It seems, isn't it?
They were probably worried that there was a definite flight risk on the plane.
In a court of law, he would fall apart instantly.
So yeah, because I have an early start, don't have time to go get some boots. But the good thing was, I probably would have if I'd got up super early, but I didn't know where I was. So it was a good icebreaker as well for sort of speaking to people at the event.
Right?
Here's Dan with his crippled feet.
You're using British social awkwardness as a reason as to why you were like, oh, I can't really do much else about this.
Yeah,
a good icebreaker.
It was.
Not anything else. Anything else in your life? I'm going to tell them immediately about how much my feet have been shredded.
It wasn't actually me that started at the start. It was my boss. My boss was like, just ignore him. And I was like, I'm just studying, and he just kept making jokes about the fact that I'm wearing, because everyone else was wearing trainers at this event, and
just stood there gently weeping.
Yeah,
loud enough that people can hear you, but not enough to cause enough distress.
Exactly.
At any point, did you think your feet were just going to give out and drop you to the ground?
No. It was. I mean, it was only blisters. I mean, it wasn't like I was getting gangrene or anything.
Photos.
The photos.
Although,
it looked like you'd had a fucking skin graft on it.
Yeah, that night, because I took the plasters off, and I thought the best thing to do for this is to air them. I got no sleep that night, and at like 3 a.m, I Googled, because my feet were absolutely in agony, and I Googled throbbing, and I was like Googling it, and I was like, you need to wash them and then put plasters on them, cover them immediately, otherwise you'll get infections. And I'm like, oh, that's why it's painful. I mean, I had them wash and everything, but because I left them open to air, it was just like, no, you need to put a plaster on. And I'm like, I thought, like when they say, oh, let a cut breathe, error.
Yeah.
So that's why, and it was like 3 o'clock in the morning, so I'm there putting plasters on at 3, just covering it up, and then I got back to sleep. But so then the following day, I booked a later flight because I wanted to have a walk around Paris, and see the sights before I went back home. Didn't get to do any of that. I basically went to Bastille, it's a nice area, and I fell into the first Foot Locker, and they had no pairs of trainers in my size. They had a pair of 11.5s New Balances, €150, and they were half a size too small for me, but they were better than my Doc Martens. So
better than having your feet ripped to shreds.
Exactly. So I wore them.
What cost more, the shoes or your dignity on this trip?
Oh God, we can't put a price on your dignity.
Now we understand why it's so needed that you have a vehicle to get yourself around places.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
This is what happens when you go. When you
Paris as well, don't they? You need a vehicle to get around.
Needed a bike. I should have been on a bicycle, but the crap thing is, I wore those trainers for about 3 hours, really, just to get me on the flight and then get me on the train to Manchester. I took them off and I put the boots back on because I thought I need to return these and swap these, and they won't accept them at the Foot Locker.
I was going to say,
well, there's a fucking surprise. I'm assuming they're covered in blood.
You wanted to buy a pair of trainers in one country, wear them for the journey back, and then return them in a different country.
I had no intention of returning them, like, if I got them in my size, but because I got them in half a size too small for me, they fit enough for me to be
But okay, taking the size issue out of it, you bought a pair of trainers in one country.
Yeah.
You wore them for the journey back to another country.
Yeah.
And then you wanted to return them in that second country.
See, they would have. I would have got away with it if it wasn't for the manager. Like, so I've scrubbed them and I've cleaned them, and they look. And all it was just some stones and just a little bit of scuff on the bottom of the shoes.
Bit of blood, bit of skin.
No, there was nothing. There's nothing wrong with the insides of them or anything like that. It was just a bit of scuff on the bottom. Like
there was enough for a DNA sample, is what we're saying.
Well, it was just a bit of stone, and I mean, you can't really tell. Although the first time I didn't clean them properly, so I took them in, and there was a couple of
wait.
Well, no, so I tried the first time, and I got away with it.
And then the second time, there's just a man with some sunglasses and a dark hat.
It was actually my wife. My wife went in the second time.
He went on his wife's shoulders wearing a big trench coat.
Hello. Shoes. They're clearly too small for me. I'm 20 foot tall. So yeah, the first time I did nothing, and I just thought, they're all right. You can't tell, and nobody did tell until the manager. Like, the woman said, I can't, we don't have these in your size in stock, so do you want to just get another pair? So I was just like, okay, and I went looking for another pair, and foolishly, in that time between leaving them behind the desk and then going to have a look at another pair, this manager had a proper scan of them, and she could see, obviously, that at the bottom of them, they'd been worn, and she was like, have you worn these? I was like, yeah, and obviously I didn't say, I've worn them for 3 hours in Paris.
Yeah, I wore them for a flight cross country.
I literally just said,
covered in blood.
I said, yes, I had to put them on to find out that they're too small for me. And she was like, well, no, they've clearly been worn. And I'm like, oh, well, and I just tried to play dumb. And I was like, well, that's how I got them. Well, I can't resell these. And I'm like,
that's how I got them. They know that's not how you got them.
I know, but you can try and.
Oh my god! I just want a reality show or like a 24/7 camera on you at all times.
Yeah, so I couldn't get rid of them, and then I scrubbed them and they look brand new. You can't even tell they've been worn now. Like, there's no chance.
You'll just have to sell them on.
Well, my wife. Well, this is the thing. They have. There's a guy collecting them on Sunday now, and I've had to sell them for like 60 quid less than what I actually frigging paid for them.
And what is the lesson? And what is the lesson that we've learned from all of this?
Fucking idiot, pretty much.
I'd be selling fucking Doc Martens, not the fucking trainers that saved you.
The Doc Martens are absolutely fine now. I've worn them to the shops twice, and it's like they're worn in, and I'm like,
the shops. Do you want me to do a little to end that story? Do you want me to read out the errors that you made? Because you made 11 errors.
11 errors. Is this like my driving lesson? I'm getting flashbacks to my mock test.
These are 11 majors as well, mate.
The majors. Oh god.
So number one, you kind of the crux of the entire story. You didn't wear them in, which is pretty obvious. Number two, you didn't research the leather aspect. Number three, you didn't check what terminal you were in on your flight.
Yeah.
Number four, you didn't think to ring ahead about the
escalators.
Yeah. Number five, you were a potential security threat. Number six, you used a selfish amount of time in the toilet to get started. Number seven, you didn't buy or think to bring premium competes. Number eight, you didn't pack appropriate socks. Number nine, didn't bother. Wait, I can't even read my own writing. Oh, you didn't bother to buy replacement shoes in one of the shopping capitals of the world. Number 10.
I love how we've got double digits out of this.
Yeah. Number 10, didn't wash his feet.
I did wash my feet.
You didn't wash your feet. We all know that was a lie that you tacked onto it halfway through the story because you realised you sounded grubby. And number 11, you wanted to return trainers purchased in a different country.
that I'd worn for a flight.
Yeah.
Yeah, covered in
Covered in
dirty,
blood.
grimy blood and skin.
And then proceeded to tell us
11 errors in that story,
11
which is
errors.
quite impressive.
Well, okay.
24 hours in gay Paris, eh?
we've got games to play.
We do.
Well, let's play them.
This game is John Wiki.
Oh, yes.
I
Fan
start
favourite.
on John Cena's Wikipedia page and then fall down a wrestling rabbit hole. And the idea is I have to try and see which of these two wrestling nerds can guess the right answer. We've played 3 times. It's so far 2-1 to Carlos. Yeah.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just something that I haven't felt comfortable enough to admit yet. But I didn't get the name of this game until I heard it back on the first time.
Oh, really?
We played it. Yeah, I didn't. You two were talking about what can we call it in the chat, and I was like, "It's a shit name." And then it wasn't until I heard the episode back after we recorded, I was like, John Wiki, get it.
Go on.
So,
what is the reason behind the name, Kyle? Just want to make sure that you know.
John Cena, Wikipedia.
Yeah.
John Wiki,
John
the film.
Wiki. Like John Wick. In case
I feel like Dan didn't know that either. He just asked me to spell it out because he was unsure. Dan didn't realise that it was a funny name either.
No, I knew that.
Yeah. Well, we spent the first 3 weeks breaking the game in, so I think we're all right now.
Yeah.
Well, it's unlike me, where
Yeah.
I just stick them on for a 2-hour flight.
You just barrel straight in and by Stockport, you're fucking in tears.
I did like the little Stockport detail. It was
Yeah.
like you get to Stockport and then all of a sudden this feeling comes over you like I've made a huge
My favourite
mistake.
part of the whole thing is that he wasn't on his feet for less than 15 minutes until he realised there was an error. But anyway, let's crack on with old John Wiki.
Okay. So first clue. As I was about to be announced, VKM claimed to feel the spirit of his father. Any guesses? Any ideas?
I've got a few mulling around in my head.
Yeah.
I need to narrow it down. Spirit.
I'm gonna. I think it might be Stephanie McMahon.
Okay.
No, Alex.
Tell you what, that is dumb enough for it to be right.
So the reason behind that guess is, I think it was Stephanie McMahon. Remember when Vince McMahon was he introduced an award, didn't he? The spirit of, I can't remember what it was. It might have been the spirit of
Christmas?
Vince McMahon Senior, and it was like an award that it was just basically an excuse to give to Stephanie McMahon for it to come out.
Okay.
Yeah.
They built it up over like 2 or 3 episodes, and I thought we were walking the fans down a garden path of like, it's I can't remember what it was, but
I feel like you've heard
like
that.
it was.
Phil, read it out again.
As I was about to be announced, VKM claims to feel the spirit of his father.
Oh, his own father.
Yeah.
His own father, yes.
Not the... Okay, so that's why I thought that was so stupid. So that is actually quite a good answer, Dan.
Yeah. So it was within the context of him sort of announcing it, and it was the spirit of... I don't know what it was. It was the something senior award of achievement of special powers. And it was, again, I don't know... I can't remember the full story behind it, but it seemed as though they were sort of going to do something, introduce somebody really important, and it was just Stephanie.
Yeah,
it was just a really just
a massive letdown.
It was a typical WWE bait and switch where you're like, yeah.
Come on, we need to speed things up.
Sorry, I'm going to go Eric Bischoff, but I think he's probably got a better answer there.
Both incorrect.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I'm not sure which one to go with. Right, Aretha Franklin opened with "Who's Zooming Who?"
Okay.
Okay. Is John Wiki always people, or is it
No,
things?
No,
it's
that's
not.
what I
It's
mean.
not
Not
always
always
people.
people.
It could be belts. It could be places. It could
Is
be events. It could be wrestlers.
Aretha
I want to
Franklin.
say WrestleMania 3.
I want to say
Okay.
WrestleMania 1, but I don't think. Yeah, go on then. I'm going to say 1.
Could be.
Okay, well, one of you's got it right.
Okay.
I bet it's Dan. I can't remember who opened which. Go on.
I'll tell you what, I'll give the rest of the clues and I'll see if you
Yeah.
can figure out which one it is. Someone ended up with a haircut they didn't want.
Mhm.
Alice Cooper was there. One of my matches at 14 minutes and 35 seconds long is considered one of the greatest in history. Another
Yeah.
match drew in 33 million viewers. And Andre the Giant got pelted with trash. That all happened at WrestleMania 3.
Bosh.
Another victory for Carlos there.
Oh, he's running away with this now.
After 2 as well.
The knowledge in it. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's just, it's one of those things, really, I suppose.
Smug bastard.
Well, it's because the logic is there that 3 was the first big one.
Big one,
The
yeah.
first 2 were relatively small,
Yeah.
and but the third one was massive because they did it on closed circuit television and had it in multiple places and stuff. So it was enormous. So it's always known as like the first
big one,
the
yeah.
first real one, yeah.
Which is why it had all the. I mean, the first one I think had some like celebrity shenanigans, but that one ramped it up, and then it forever after was the same.
From there on, it was the big one, wasn't it? Really, the granddaddy of them all.
All good.
Well done, Carl. Well done.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Yeah.
Extending his lead in that.
I need to pull me.
What's that now? 3-1.
Yeah.
I need to
3-1.
sit on.
Okay, now
It's only points. They don't mean anything.
They do. They mean prizes, and they mean that Carl gets more and more arrogant.
Yeah, exactly. I could for the next week just put my non-calloused and hurt feet up and not really do anything like you.
My feet are all right now, actually.
Bollocks.
The
Nothing
competes
heals
have done
that
their job.
quickly.
No, I can get out. Shall I get my feet out on the podcast?
Yeah.
Oh no!
Proof point
on the dirty episode. That's when that happens.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. This is
we start flashing our feet at people.
Rule 34. Here we go.
Oh.
Yeah. So
that'd be your porno and wrestling name, Doc Martin.
You can't do heel turns very well, though, can you?
Way.
Very nice, very nice.
We've got a bit of "Show Me the Money" as we take ourselves into the main event.
Yes, please.
Yes.
Show me the money.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money.
Dollar, dollar.
The world of wrestling is obsessed with money, from ironclad contracts to billion-dollar princesses, with Money in the Bank ladder matches and casino battle royals. As the $1 Million Man says, everyone's got a price. So this week, I want you to tell me, how much is Mandy Rose charging people on her OnlyFans? I'll give you some context. So it's another Only Dance.
I actually
No,
read
the
a little
answer.
bit about this.
Ah.
I don't think I know the answer, but I don't think it's actually OnlyFans. I think it's something else.
So,
Some kind
Oh,
of
yeah.
different.
So
Yeah.
I'm presuming she is a wrestler who has become an adult content creator. of
Well,
some sort.
Dan needs to give a
of
bit of
sorts.
background here. I feel, Phil. But
Yeah.
go on, Dan.
Okay.
So she's is she? Oh, sorry, she was. Was she the longest serving NXT
400 days
400
until
days.
a couple of days ago.
Yeah, Tuesday night. So this past Saturday
last Tuesday.
No. Sorry, the Iron Survivor. By the way, Iron Survivor is I questioned the I don't know, the concept. It's a fucking amazing concept when it's done really.
I watched none of it.
I sort of like read the Discord around it online, and people were like, "This is brilliant." And the women's isn't amazing. It's but they've still kind of like
we are going
do
off
the
topic.
story.
That's what I'm going to say.
Yeah, I know. Sorry,
very off topic.
but the men's absolutely smashes the concept. Anyways, sorry. So on Saturday, Iron Survivor. I forgot the name of the girl that won.
Last Saturday. Comes out on Wednesday.
She won out. She won. Oh yeah, we're ahead, aren't we? Anyways, on Tuesday night, Mandy Rose loses the women's NXT women's title.
Right.
Mandy
On Wednesday.
Mandy Rose has been around for years. She was in NXT, went up to the main roster. So she's been around for a while. Was on Tough Enough back in the day and didn't get a contract through that, but kind of did. So she's like really worked at her craft over the last like couple of years. Down when she went back down.
So she's not like a youngster in the wrestling.
Not
world.
Really, no. But
she's been around a while, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she's been around a while, but she's really like honed her wrestling craft over the last like couple of years, and really because she was seen as a bit of a bimbo for
a model turned wrestler.
Model wrestler, yeah.
Okay.
Which really, and then she's then kind of done what Dan's about to talk about.
Yeah. So she'd in the last 3 months she'd been on. Because they mentioned this weird another fans page, but she is on OnlyFans. This is where the question is, like, but she's on other like fans only pages where people subscribe, like, but not Patreon, the other ones. And it was just sort of risque bikini clad pictures and maybe some videos. But apparently over the last month
listen
or so,
to him. Apparently, I don't know. Apparently, this happened.
I haven't like crawled through the dark web to find them. Yeah, apparently over the last couple of weeks they've got more and more X-rated.
Right.
She's been pushing the old limits, as they say.
Pushing the envelope a little bit, but there was absolutely zero discourse around this online. Like, no, WWE are looking into this. WWE are concerned. Like, there was no real sort of chatter around it. And she lost the title on Tuesday night, and then you wake up the next day and she'd been released by WWE. And it turns out,
right.
So apparently the official line is because she had her own fans only sort of premium subscription page, and it wasn't anything to do with the X-rated content. But as the day got further and further on, there was apparently a leak, and it was there's a lot of X-rated content on their pages. So they were sort of like cut off ties before that, but they've used the story of, because they've released other talent in the past for being on Twitch and being on other platforms.
What I would say is that was on in the previous regime, right? So that was
it seemed as though under this new regime,
first release around kind of doing anything outside of WWE.
But I think even as the regime changed, I think the rules were still you can't be on your own platform. I think they tried to bring
lax with it.
They brought, like that, and I think that's what happened. I think they got lax with it, and then they maybe tried to nip it in the bud and use the story of, we don't want her on. They'd rather the story be we've released her because she's on her own, she's releasing content on her own platforms, than the story be she's at a porn league, basically.
Right.
Or she's releasing X-rated content.
I think it is because I think they basically said that it's the X-rated nature of it.
Was it? I thought the story was because it was that. I think that's what came out over the course of like the day, Wednesday. Really, the story was it was the X-rated content.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Though I think it is because of that. But I think, I mean, I don't know, I can't know how much. So Phil, you're not at a disadvantage. Don't worry. But from all accounts, she's earning an absolute fucking truckload from doing this.
So what
in the process isn't having to bump around a wrestling ring.
Yeah. So what?
know,
What am I guessing?
So
wait, the
yeah.
rumor is basically that she has been pushing the boundaries of this on purpose, so they basically fuck her off for good, and she can just do what she wants then and
I
carry
see.
on
Yeah,
earning an absolute shitload.
And by the
Yeah.
sounds of it, she can use her natural good looks.
And the platform she
probably
built
better
from
than
WWE to
Yeah, yeah.
leverage
Exactly.
into
Yeah.
So fair play to her.
So I've got a number here per month in dollars.
Okay.
So how much is she charging per month?
How much is she charging, or how much is she earning?
Charging? So it's one single subscription.
Okay.
Per month. How much does it cost? If you were to go and
so if I'm going on it now,
Universal credit,
I'm spending my government Christmas bonus.
Just to let you know, your Christmas bonus won't cover it.
I was going to say,
okay.
is it over or under on the old payment?
Okay.
Okay.
So there's a little bit of a hint. Phil's it's one of those ones. I've already told you the answer. Phil's Christmas bonus will not cover the subscription.
So
I've got a guess, but Phil,
logging in, and I'm like, right, I need to see if I can afford this amount per month. I'm assuming I'm going to say $50 a month.
Okay.
I was going to say 30.
30. Okay. You're both wrong, and you're both $10 out.
40.
Yes.
Oh,
$40 is a lot. Of
everyone wins.
I mean,
for stuff that you can just get for free quite easily on.
Yeah, exactly.
Go on.
But I also read that she, which I didn't even know was a thing, that you can pay like, I think it was $29 or something like that to get a dick rating.
Oh god!
So
I've seen.
I've heard of these. Yeah,
I've heard of that.
Have you never heard of it? Yeah.
No, never. But I assume what happens is you take a dick pic, you send it to them, pay them however much money, $29, and then they say 2 out of 10. Is that what it is?
I'm pretty sure that's what's going to be.
Oh god!
I imagine it's men who like being degraded, being told that their dick is,
or is
not
it like
scratch.
Is it like 2 out of 10? But if you maybe made these tweaks to it, maybe
I mean, yeah, if you did,
and then they come back,
what
3 out of
tweaks
10, and then
maybe
if you I don't know, a little trimmer on the pubes, something like that. Oh,
okay.
Come back next week, another $29. What about this? Probably about a 5. If you make this tweak, you get up to like
draw a face on
7
it.
or 8. Yeah, and then
put
it's
it in a
like
little jacket.
8 out of 10. Circumcise yourself.
Oh well, that went.
4 weeks later, she's made $120 off this guy, and he's basically chopped his foreskin off.
Yeah.
Oh Jesus! But yeah, that's the state of the internet. So yeah, I again, like, I think there was a lot of chatter around these whole, fans only or premium subscription accounts, and a lot of wrestlers are making, or female wrestlers were making a hell of a lot more than they were ever making. The different, like,
good.
How does she compare to Fart Lady? Do you reckon?
Oh, she'll be earning
way more.
Well, she'll be earning a hell of a lot more
because she's got the grubby wrestling.
Yeah.
No, I think grubby was Fart Lady. No, I read that Mandy Rose is earning at the moment $500,000 a month on it. At a minimum.
This is the thing, because
that doesn't even include the dick ratings.
Yeah, Jesus, that is a.
Maybe she's just as done for free now.
Yeah, because that's the thing. I thought, at least with, why would you give up your wrestling career for this? Because
you can do it out of the comfort of your own home. You don't have to sit in front of people critiquing you constantly for your work rate.
And that's
there's
$6 million a year. That's quite a lot.
Yeah,
for a
exactly.
Wrestler, right?
It's like how long? Yeah.
If you could work for a living or earn money, sit around taking pictures of your fucking toddler, what would you do?
Well,
I know what I do straight away.
Exactly, yeah. But it's only going to last so long, isn't it? Surely.
$500,000 a month?
That's
oh,
it.
God
That's what I
forbid
mean.
that
Yeah,
ends.
I know that ends exactly.
What are you talking
It's,
about?
it's the same as like when you think like
Is that not
footballer's
enough for
career
you?
only lasts a certain amount of time. Like her
Right,
career's only going to last a
so
certain.
What are you talking about?
half a million
Looks
a month.
diminish, don't
You're
they?
like, well, I'm not really sure about that. But you want to go and fucking sit on the bench
You
for
want to
a
work for a living,
for a football
when you could
team.
do that, and
For
then
Imagine if you
you can do
combine
it
the
for
two.
3 years. You can do
Yeah.
it for 3 years, pay off any debts you're ever going to face ever, and have enough to live on for the rest of your life.
Yeah. That's what it is. It's all about like you've got to invest it correctly, haven't you? I know. I'm going
You
down the
could
boring.
literally not invest a penny of it and never
Yeah.
worry
Well,
about
no,
money
because
ever
you'll have
again.
a certain
You could
standard
sit
of
in your
lifestyle, won't
debit
you?
account and you wouldn't care.
Yeah.
It wouldn't
Yeah.
even
True.
factor in. If it was that
I know
much.
I know where I'd invest the money. I'd invest it all in Compede.
Soft leather Doc Martens
Yeah.
for all.
put it in a charity for people who are fucking idiots and go away and don't break their shoes in, and we have to hand out a free pair of shoes to them.
Dan's like, I'm buying everyone boots. The shop or the shoes? Oh
Just so you
dear.
can feel my pain. But yeah,
That
I
is,
just thought like it's a lot of
It's a
money.
lot of money. That's a lot of money.
yeah, but I don't understand.
Yeah.
I don't understand your thought around it though. I don't get it.
No, it was more like, as I say, it can only last so long, and then it's going to stop. At least like with
Much
WWE,
like
you've got
wrestling.
No, but then because you can kind of like carve a career out of that backstage or doing something. It depends, but I mean, yeah, granted, it's WWE, isn't it? So there's not always the sort of
That's
the-
not a guarantee.
it's not the guarantee of a career of a job. Yeah, I know, I understand that. So I mean, you've gone into the world of wrestling, so the risk again. I'm a boring person. I stayed in a job for 11 years, didn't I? Because I was like, well, I don't better the devil you know. So it's like,
Yeah, if you'd have taken a few pictures of your ass and got yourself out there, who knows?
exactly. That's the thing. They're in the gig industry, aren't they? So they've kind of like there's more risk.
Imagine if we used those pictures of Dan's feet that you sent us, and they were the only pictures of someone's feet that foot fetish people were just like, no, I'm all right, thanks. I don't really want to. I don't really want to see that.
Do you know what?
Dan's like, fine, I'll do a dick rating then, whatever.
I'll do dick ratings, yeah. I'm missing a trick there, aren't I? I've got some pics of my feet. I should set up an only Dan's.
And only Dan's.
Yeah,
that will do for the next episode. How much does Dan make off of his OnlyFans account?
When he comes in, he's just wearing like loads of gold chains and a crown,
yeah.
smoking a cigar.
And
You
he's
know
quit
what?
his job. And then
I
we're
was-
like, do you remember what you
Yeah.
said about last week about the whole job thing and keeping that?
I've jacked it all in because I'm selling pictures of me scabby feet on the internet.
Oh, I would do that in an instant if I could.
Yeah,
Sell
Come
pictures
on.
of Dan's scabby feet.
Yeah, well, yeah, that as well.
just go out and wear my Doc Martens.
What's holding you back,
Dan,
Carl?
why don't you do Dan, why don't you do scabby feet only, Dan's? And then you can, instead of dick ratings, you can do scab ratings. So people send you their scabs and you have the rating.
Trash from 29. Just there's a diminishing returns, isn't it? It's like just pick it off and come back to me in a week's time so I can rate the new scab.
Exactly.
And there
This
you
is
go.
the second suggestion that we've had that one of us goes and works in the sex industry as a job.
I mean,
Oh yeah.
Is that where this podcast is ultimately going to end up? All of us on
Well,
the
it's not
streets.
It's not
On the
successful,
corner.
is it? So it's
No.
going to have to.
exactly. The podcast isn't working, so this
Well,
is.
We're sliding into we're going into a recession, lads. What else are we going to do?
We'll head over to Colombia and shake
No.
our thing.
Get
You
there.
know what I was thinking? Go on.
I was going to say, should we get on with the fucking podcast?
No, not yet. You know,
Okay.
have you ever watched any clips of Prince Philip going to that tribe that like thought
That
he was a
worshipped
deity?
him.
Yeah. Do you think we're like that if we would go to Colombia? It's gonna be like that for us.
Well, they'll have like when we get off the plane, there will just be
Yeah,
people
it's
like
like-
in a row
There'll
applauding
be-
us.
When we get
It's
off
like
the plane, they'll be
Beatlemania.
looking at my feet.
Yeah.
Beetle. Oh my god.
God.
Ugh.
And they have to carry Dad around everywhere because he's got some
Yeah.
calluses on his feet.
You know, when they like put them on like the ceremonial chair and they lift him up.
Yeah.
That's just how we're getting him from the airport.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's been
We
running
heard you
up and down
talking
the
about
plane, getting
the
excited.
travelator. Yeah, we heard you talking about the travelator at Manchester Airport. So we've created our own little travelator for you. How are your feet? We've got you some compedes.
I'm like, yes,
Colombian
coming in.
compedes.
Oh God.
Oh God, yeah.
Well, it looks like there's been enough talk. It's time for the main event.
So this week's main event is Rule 34 of the Internet, seeing as this is episode 34. Rule 34 of the Internet is...
Oh, I didn't realize it was episode 34.
Yeah, that's why I've had it.
Why don't I get these
Well,
things? Why am I always so far
Piece
behind
together,
on them?
yeah.
I feel like you guys make plans without me, and I just then look like a fucking idiot. I
think
had
you
no
probably
idea.
just cast an eye on your phone and then just put the little thumbs up icon without realizing anything, and then as a Carl,
Little
Yeah.
GIF.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll
little
stick
funny
a
gif.
Okay.
GIF.
So Rule 34 of the Internet is there is porn of it, no exceptions. No
Yeah,
exceptions.
if it
at all.
exists, there is porn.
There's a porn of it.
Right.
Yeah.
So the term was coined by a British teenager in 2005 when he discovered some Calvin and Hobbes erotica.
That's interesting because Calvin and Hobbes isn't that big of a thing in
No.
Britain.
And yeah.
And I was going to say, how do you just stumble upon that? But
He was
Yeah.
looking for
Sorry,
it.
he was
the
looking
internet.
for it.
He was
Yeah.
searching it out. He had a Calvin and Horn.
Ooh.
Thank you.
I have written a game based on porn. If you wanna play it.
We love a game.
So this game is called Porn Yes or Porn No.
Okay.
Right. The title's got nothing to do with how the game's played. It was just all I could think of. Okay.
Do we need to make notes, or is it more of a quick fire?
I'm hoping it's going to be relatively easy.
Okay.
Right. TK has been acting up recently.
As in Tony Khan.
As in Tony Khan, yeah. Friend
Okay.
of the podcast, Tony Khan.
Yeah.
His nanny has said he's starting to take an interest in adult things like comfortable shoes, what his Spotify Wrapped look like, and where he can put his winky, or as he calls it, Dwayne the Cock Johnson. But he's got a bit upset at some of the naughty titles that some pornography uses. They're a bit too explicit for his prepubescent mind. So can we help him decipher the puntastic porn so he can finally stop bidding on chairs that lady wrestlers have sat on? Oh, I forgot I wrote that.
Oh God.
That made me go at the end there. Right. I have potential titles of porn versions of mainstream films. I want you to tell me the name of the real film. Okay. So, for example, White Men Can't Hump. And you would say...
White Men Can't Jump.
White Men Can't Jump. So just buzz in with your name when you know it. Okay.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Throbbing Hood.
Carl.
Yes.
Robin Hood.
Robin Hood. Correct. Snatch Adams.
Carl.
Dan.
Patch Adams.
It was Patch Adams. Carl again. Indiana Moans and the Temple of Poon.
Dan. Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
Correct.
Oh God. Are these all real titles?
No, they're just ones I just...
You've made them up. Okay.
I imagine there'll be some of these will be real. But
Yeah.
I just thought it's more fun to come up with the film and then come up with the rude one
It
first.
is.
Okay.
Okay.
What did you got? The BFI's 100 best movie.
100 films to wank to before you die.
The reason I ask is because Patch Adams would be a weird one, right?
Yeah.
A porno one.
This is Rule 34.
I don't think they really care about that. It's just like if it's got a name.
Isn't it a doctor in a children's hospital?
Yeah.
Yeah. Can't imagine that would go down well.
Okay. The man who blew too much.
Carl, the man who knew too much.
Yeah, that's right. Slitty Lickers.
Dan, City Slickers.
City Slickers, correct.
City Lickers.
There's only two more. Come and Comer.
Carl, Dumb and Dumber. Oh, that's my favourite.
I'm not sure who that was. I think that was Carl. It doesn't really matter. Okay, finally. 4 wet dicks and a few in her ass.
Carl, 4 weddings and a funeral.
That's correct, yes.
Oh, God, they were good. I
Oh,
enjoyed that.
and Tony can,
You can rest easy.
he can rest easy. His socks are safe now.
Was it 4 wet dicks and a thumb in her ass?
And a few in her ass.
few
Or a
in
thumb in her ass. I guess it doesn't really matter.
That's better.
Yeah, okay, we'll go with that.
I'm just thinking about which ones to make into merchandise, you see.
Yeah, we've got another merchandise idea. Another one?
Yeah.
Another game. Okay. So I've 69'd some shit I just made up because I'm going to be the person saying the names out this time. So I've got down 4 names of porn stars. I want you to tell me if they are actual porn stars or not, according to Pornhub. Okay.
Is that the reason?
So this is
why?
this is.
So this is.
I was
so
like,
I'm gonna are you now putting this on the podcast for your mum and dad to go? By the way, when you walked in and you saw Pornhub on my computer the other day, I was actually just doing some research for the podcast.
Do you know what that did genuinely nearly happen the other day?
Did it?
Yeah.
What, you nearly got caught having a little Tony?
No. Like I'd done all my research and had my little Tony tugs.
Oh, is that what you call it? Research?
But I'd done it on like my normal like web browser, and my mum was over and we were looking at something, and I just came up and just immediately the only thing that came up in the search bar was Pornhub.
Oh God!
Oh no!
No! It's research for the podcast.
I don't care. I mean, fucking hell! If she thinks that I'm just some sort of little saint, I mean, she listens to this for goodness sake. She's going to listen to the fact that I just wrote that game.
What was it that came up though? What video? What type of?
Oh no, it didn't come up with anything. Like I didn't click on it. I was looking for something else.
By the way,
by the way, mother,
would you like to?
Here's what I like. We can all play. You can both guess these if you want to.
This is an all play game.
Yeah, this is an all play. Yeah, everyone's involved. We've all thrown our car keys into the bowl. Right, you ready? And I'm going to put some like different like sexy porny music under this. Yeah. I'm going to change it. Okay.
Bow, 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 bow. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. James Dean.
That's real.
Real.
Fucking hell, damn, that was quick. Yes, it's real.
He's an actor, isn't he? Though that's an actual actor. He's been in.
I think he moved into it, but he also got Me Too'd, I believe, for being an absolute shit house.
Yeah.
Michelle Mone.
Isn't that the woman who's getting done for PPE?
Yeah.
Correct. She is the absolute shithouse who has profited off the coronavirus over here.
Do you know what? If you hadn't have said that, I'd have been like, it's got to be one.
100%.
Yeah.
I just thought it was a really good.
I mean,
like,
it probably is as well, right? Yeah. It probably is as well.
She didn't come up during my
your extensive
research.
Indica.
Your 2-minute wank and then a half-hour nap.
Indica flower.
I'm going to say no.
I'm going to say yes. Rings a bell.
She is a porn star. And finally, Kim Kardashian.
Yes. Oh well, actually.
She's made a sex tape.
Definition
Is she listed on Pornhub?
Oh, yeah, she profited.
She must be. She profited off of porn.
Oh, that's the question, isn't it? Is she listed on Pornhub?
Does she appear as a list, in the list of porn stars on Pornhub?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Isn't it like the number one watched video on that website?
Yes, she does.
Yeah.
She is in fact on there, yeah.
Dan is really showing his knowledge of porn off on this.
Yeah, the answers there were alarmingly quick.
Yes, 100%. She's actually number 34 in the US favorite.
It's quite funny though, because on the, what was it, Indica flower or something?
Yeah.
He went, yeah, I recognise
that
name. he answered immediately
from,
and then kind of backtracked. So it was like,
oh no, I spend a lot of time on the internet, so like.
You're going to come across some porn,
you do have a lot of screens.
I'm pretty sure I've come across Indica flower.
Infinite monkeys with infinite typewriters. Spend enough time on the internet, you come across porn.
Exactly.
Right, are you going to tell me what the wrestling
Rule 34 is?
Equivalent of Rule 34 is?
I'd probably pretty swiftly as well. Dan, have you got anything for this episode?
I've got one, which is probably like, well, yeah, you say the Rule 34 is if it exists, there's porn for it, and Rule 34 in wrestling is like essentially like squared circle jerk on Reddit, where that's basically if it happens in wrestling, somebody's sexualized it, and somebody that's kind of like
for the old people who listen. What can we explain Reddit very quickly?
It's the well, I mean, how do you explain
front page of the internet, mate?
Front page of the internet, yeah. Anything that goes
viral,
well, yeah, it's basically that, yeah. There's
lots of little communities together,
yeah,
where you can talk to other people.
There's one for the primary wrestling community is called Squared Circle. So there's your Rule 34. Like the primary one for wrestling is Squared Circle, and because that's the name of obviously what a wrestling ring is. And then there's another Rule 34 offshoot of it called Squared Circle Jerk. A play on the term. And essentially all that is oh god, it's GIFs and slow motion videos of primarily women's wrestlers. Like
of course.
If they're sort of like as they're entering the ring and the camera's there looking up, and there's like if it's on screen for half a second, they slow it down and go, "Oh, look at blah blah's bum," and you're like, just anything that happens, like a women's wrestler can get body slammed and a bum can jiggle, and it's like they'll sexualize it, and that's your Rule 34, like, and it's more focused on women, because wrestling fans are misogynistic to the day they die. But yes, I think that's the from my perspective, the Rule 34 is if something happens to a woman in a wrestling ring, you can sexualize it.
Is this someone who this unfortunately happens to more than any of the others? Is there like a leading light? Just as long as they have,
yeah.
I mean, it feels like in general, because you see it on Twitter as well, don't you? In similar kind of attention given to certain people, but it seems to kind of be like it just depends on the month or the year.
Yeah, flavor of the month. Like I remember there was a period where Bayley, I mean that moved over into sort of general wrestling discourse. Bayley is she's a bit of a heel now, but for a long time she was like this. How would you describe not babyish sort of character? She was like aimed at children.
She was like
I remember
very appealing to like teenagers type of age.
Yeah,
I would say.
She's
even younger than that.
And she never wore anything that was overtly sexual. Even now, she still doesn't wear anything that's overtly sexual.
No, I recognize the name. I could probably pick her out of a lineup if I had to. And she was very sort of. No, sorry, Garrett. You describe it better than me.
Yeah,
Carry on,
it's
sorry.
not that she hasn't been sexualized at all, like in her wrestling gear, as a face or as a heel. But she's got a big bum. Like,
So it's all you need.
but
So you
that's
need-
and it's like,
amazing
but,
ass.
but
Her and
in a sense,
Rikishi, that's all you need.
but not in a. But again, like she wears long trousers, long sort of wrestling gear. So it's like when the camera turns at an angle, you're like, oh yeah, she's got a big firm bum, and it's like what. But what happens is like she's on like that camera will turn into the angle for half a second, and that video clip gets slowed. And that was like a discourse that kind of moved over into, as I say, normal wrestling, where it's like Bailey's big ass, and it's like you can't sexualize it. This was Haley being
Bailey's
being,
big ass does sound like a
Yeah.
porn, to be
Yeah,
fair.
exactly. Probably is. But that's one where, again, flavor of the month, there was like a period where, again, that became so popular it moved over into normal wrestling discourse. There's one, I mean, I was going to save this. I'll go into it in more detail in another podcast, but there's one that I fell across. There's a fan who's obsessed with Alexa Bliss. His Twitter account is scary. We'll go into in more detail on another podcast because
Let's do an
I think I've
episode on
got subjects.
stalkers or something like that.
That's
at
the
some point.
subjects that I want to sort of
Super
really
fans
focus on
or
him.
something.
Yeah. But this guy, I found this Twitter account when we first started the podcast. So, and I thought it had gone, and it's been saved in my notes. And I clicked on it today just to see if it's still alive. Still there, still tweets at least 10 times a day about Alexa Bliss.
Wow.
And
she does seem to be the main one that
she's the one right now that's again
around,
when I say flavor of the month, she's the one that's like they're obsessively. It's like Taylor Swift fans, but actually more obsessing that like that's a sexualized version of that.
Yeah.
Super obsessive. But yeah, that's where again from in my perspective, that squared circle jerk again, they'll focus on all Alexa Bliss has to do is
Exist.
Yeah, just come out onto the front of the stage, and they'll go. So they'll find some angle, and again, God forbid a wrestler has a nip slip. That picture will go. That
will go everywhere.
Again,
it happens with every kind of sport, celebrity.
Oh yeah, true.
Like that, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But it is particularly bad in wrestling, especially on Twitter and stuff. I've got one that's a bit more literal than that, if I'm honest. Phil, you alluded to this earlier with your, I believe it was her follow-up to the, you mentioned backdoor to China.
Yeah.
Backdoor to China.
I was going to chat around quite a literal Rule 34 of wrestling, which is China, Queen of the Ring. Now, I'll be honest, I've only ever seen screenshots of this. But I've quite handily got a review open in front of me, which is we can maybe look at this again later in the pod because it's part 1 of 5.
A 5-part review.
And it's thanks to Cage Side Seats that I've .com that I've got the review. But I thought we could maybe just go through the review and just comments and questions.
Yes, please.
Sorry, this is for China
Queen of the Ring. So I believe the first one. So it's the one where she no, it's the one that she is. I think it's actually maybe it's the second one. It's the proper porn. It's not the homemade.
Oh, not the one with X-Pac.
So,
which was leaked.
So this is like basically, it's essentially Rule 34. It's a porn parody of wrestling. So there's all of the characters from wrestling starring or parodies of those stars starring with China. Do you know who China is?
I didn't know this existed.
Yeah. Did you not?
Yeah, but
well, listen, mate.
From the porn, not from the wrestling.
Oh, you only knew China from porn. You didn't know of her from wrestling.
I knew that she had like crossed genres at times and kind of went from one to the other, and then sort of went back, and then kept sort of flitting between.
I don't think she ever went back, did she? She got released.
This was done,
and then went to porn, and then.
Let's not go too far into the story because it's sad, and I want to have a laugh about this. So let's just leave it there, right? This is about making fun of the work that was produced, parody. Not the human being that was starring in it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So
I didn't know this existed. I thought it was one night in China and then backdoor to China, and then the whole
Well,
film that she
mate,
did. But
a little bit of Google sleuthing will bring this part 1 of 5 reviews.
Is this
up,
what
and
this Google
let me
event
tell
that Dan
you-
was doing in Paris? Everyone
Yeah.
else was just searching for normal things. Dan was
Yeah.
looking up.
First part, actually, China is wearing a well-worn-in pair of Doc Martens, apparently.
Is she?
So,
Oh, that's good
there
to
you
know.
go.
Yeah,
Well
what a
worn in,
sensible,
so-
sensible thing to do.
Yeah, so we'll just take it bit by bit, see how far we get into it, and go from there. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
All
I
right.
mean, that was the
So-
the instruction that she was given at
Yeah,
the start. There's a-
And exactly. And listen, people, we might end up having to make this into a bit of a 2-part episode to cover ourselves off of the Christmas period potentially, because it's quite long anyway. So maybe we won't get through it. Okay, so the show begins with a backstage segment in China's dressing room where Vince and Stephanie McMahon confront China. China cuts a promo on Vince about how your daughter stole my man and your darling daughter ruined my career.
oh God, this
So,
is
Phil,
bringing a bit of real life.
It's inside, mate.
This
It's
is-
inside.
This is absolute inside baseball. This is
It is. So, Phil, Triple H and China were a couple.
Uh-huh.
Then Triple H and Stephanie McMahon kind of got together
yeah.
behind China's back, and then obviously got married and so on. So, and China's obviously always had a bee in a bonnet, and then brought it up in a porno.
As you do.
So she said, your darling daughter ruined my career. Then she turns to Stephanie and tells her that she is homicidally vengeful towards you and your crotch.
Okay.
Then she uses...
Wow, what? That is a phrase.
I know. She...
Ooh,
Go on.
No.
Listen, lads, stop me whenever you want, all right? Listen, there's a lot to get through
Okay.
here, but I'm willing to stop and chat and analyse any of it.
Homicidally vengeful was that? Like, I'm going to straight up murder
Towards her crotch.
to your crotch.
That's some merch, definitely.
Oh, yeah. She then uses rather profane language to tell them that they are phallic symbols and to get the heck out of her dressing room. These are really strong words. Vince's acting is particularly terrible here, but China put a lot of emotion into this promo. So obviously the actor playing Vince, not that good. China obviously kind of taking a bit of her
Previous
real life
experience.
situation
Yeah.
and clearly bringing it to the role according to the author. Oh, lads. I don't know if you two are ready for this next sentence.
Oh God.
I really don't think you are. But I'm just going to say it and I'm going to try and get through it. And then I'm
Okay.
just going to stop and just let it sit. All right.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, China and Vince are negotiating the terms for her Jizzapalooza match for later during the Fucklemania card.
The Jizzapalooza.
Fucklemania.
Fucklemania.
Yeah. If we all just let that
Yeah.
sit and settle
Yeah.
for a
Yeah,
second.
yeah.
I want to see the logo for that.
Is there a better sentence in anywhere on the internet? All you Colombians, I'm challenging you right now. Find me a better sentence on the internet than the one I just read out.
Her Jizzapalooza match at the main event to Fucklemania.
Not even the main event.
Oh, it wasn't even the main
Jizzapalooza
event. She's
for-
the opening
For
match.
later
Mid-card.
on, during Fucklemania card. So she's
Oh.
not even the main event.
She's not even the
clearly
main event.
undercard.
Mid-card.
She could be pre-show at this rate. Who knows?
Well,
Vince wants her to put another talent over, but China only accepts this condition on one term. She tells both McMahons to get on your knees and suck it, obviously referencing the DX
DX.
phrase,
Yeah.
suck it. And also, I feel, weirdly, I think this is more like, there's layers to this. I also think this is referencing the time that Jeff Jarrett refused to put China over in a match and made them pay him more money. So I feel like she's kind of using layers of meta, you know.
this is for the
good
wrestling
stuff.
fans.
This
This
is
is for the fans. Isn't
this is good stuff.
She's clearly
Uh,
written her autobiography, and she never got A&E or
someone has gone
HBO
through
or anybody.
Someone's gone through it with a highlighter and gone just written next to it "Fucklemania" instead of
Exactly. That's it, isn't it?
Um,
Really, it's her
yeah.
autobiography, but she hasn't been able to put it on a mainstream platform, so it's had to go on to Pornhub.com.
Exactly. This is like what's that show, Young Rock? It's like that, but for China.
NBC Universal didn't stump up the cash, but bloody
Knobs
Brazzers
did. Get on your knees and suck it. Vince and Stephanie then get on their knees, and the camera cuts away for a second. When we are back, the three of them are going at it. Is this an impromptu backstage handicap match? ? Or maybe this is just a backstage attack. I'm not sure because there is no commentary. So there's a little bit of humor thrown in by the reviewer as well. Obviously, he's trying to keep it light. Well, anyway, Vince and Stephanie start to viciously assault China's legs and crotch. Vince is aggressively ramming his head and fingers towards China's groin region. I'm not sure if this is a submission move or not, but China doesn't look close to tapping out. She's just standing there and not really selling it at all. After a while, China reverses the maneuver and starts launching her own spirited attacks towards Vince's grapefruit as he stands up.
Where sneaks in towards his grapefruits?
Grapefruit. So Vince McMahon would always say that he has massive grapefruits in reference to his big balls.
So inside baseball.
Yeah, but grapefruits are fucking massive.
Hence,
I don't think that'll be much of a boast. It's not like they're doing anything.
Vince McMahon saying, "I've got massive
My cock
balls."
is so big.
Yeah,
that I've got grapefruit balls.
Yeah. That's him saying, "You can't beat me because I've got balls of steel or the size of grapefruits." But anyway, that's just a little reference from the reviewer, I believe. Stephanie sneaks in from behind, but accidentally gets caught on her back in what looks like a modified stink face underneath China's rear.
Whoops.
China has her foes right where she wants them. Vince says that if he knew China was this good, that he would never have cancelled her contract. There is some decent psychology here, as Vince admits that he can feel the effects of China's powerful blows all the way down to my balls.
Do you reckon we could get Carl a gig as they do for people with hard of hearing? They'll have people
audio books for
porn. Like audio will come up for the audio descriptions on porn for disabled people.
Why not?
Yeah,
I'd do that.
Why not? Again, an extra revenue stream.
We might have to make you not corpse when you get to the word balls.
I'd struggle. Vincent amps up his diabolical. Oh no, wait, I've skipped a bit. Vince and Stephanie regain control of the match, and Vince bends China over where she's attached from both ends by the McMahon tag team. Vince repeatedly attacks her from behind, while Stephanie is just kind of sitting there holding China's head down towards the general vicinity of the $1 billion pelvic bone. I guess this is to make sure China can't break Vince's hold. I mean, it just goes on and on, lads.
It's not quite the same when someone's reading it out from a sheet of paper.
It's not. No, I mean,
part of me wants to.
Even with your amazing talents,
maybe this is a commentary type of deal at some point, like a special, watch along episode that we do in the future.
Could we take the place of
Carl? Are you inviting us all around to your house to watch China's porn?
To talk about it. There's a gap in the market now because my dad wrote a porno isn't going ahead, so maybe we could fill the slot.
Fill it with. I mean, we've got, if we want to do wrestling related pornos, we've got China's sequel, and then what's her face did one as well. Sunny did one as well.
Who else?
So we've got three straight off a bounce.
Who else has done? Surely Paige. I mean, Paige's leaks.
I don't think that's morally correct.
Has any other wrestlers?
I was thinking if there were any male ones who would have done it, but
Hogan got leaked as well.
Hogan got leaked.
Oh, like an actual sex tape of.
Yeah, and that was the whole. Have you seen the documentary? The documentary that's on how he sued TMZ, not TMZ, sorry, Gawker, wasn't it?
Oh,
Gawker Gawker went out of business because of him. Yeah.
What was the guy's name who funded it? Peter Thiel or something like that.
Oh, right. Oh, no, I thought you meant some of the Love Sponge one.
No, Bubba the Love Sponge was his mate, but there's a guy, a really rich guy who funded Hogan's lawsuit.
Gawker.
I think Peter Thiel he's called.
Yeah.
I hate that I know shit like this.
But that's the documentary based on that.
Yeah,
that
they brought it down,
sordid,
didn't they?
sordid part of Hogan's
So
history.
in terms of like the crossover, it's not so much the wrestlers themselves. It might be more the fans who are creating the lewd environment that I
yes.
have now been forced to become a part of.
Yeah,
you're all part of
absolutely.
it. I mean, the entire Tell Me Wrestling entity has just kind of gone into it, hasn't it? Really, we're part of the whole zeitgeist now.
Yeah.
Isn't Twilight's like a Rule 34?
Breaking.
No. It's kind of like a Rule 34 film, isn't it? So because
No,
Twilight
aren't you
was
thinking
fanfic.
50
Oh no,
Shades
sorry,
of Grey started
50
based
Shades
on a
of Grey.
Twilight
Sorry,
fanfic,
yeah. So yeah, 50 Shades of Grey is a Rule 34.
That makes more sense.
Yeah, because it was based on Twilight fanfic, which is Twilight exists.
Isn't it more like, but that isn't it more like because that was more a fan fiction, so it was inspired by. Isn't it more around like, I don't know? I'm looking around my room, 2 dining chairs shagging. You'll be able to find it as a porn, isn't it? Stuff like that. And like, if you're into something or something, you think.
Someone will have gone. I'm going to make this to whack off to.
Yeah, you could probably. There's probably there's weird stuff. People, I mean, what is it? The financial people who are into being financially destitute. That's something
Finland.
That's kind of that's kind of like that fell on. I can't remember what I was watching.
Like, we've talked about this before, I feel.
Yeah, and it's like that's another thing where I'm like, again, weird kinks. Different show.
Everyone has their kinks. Everyone has their kinks. Let them crack.
Well, we're about to find out if people have scabby feet, scabby blistering man's feet kink. Because if they do,
watch our listenership just skyrocket off the back of this one.
Just sent you a WhatsApp message. Just have a look at the photo that I've just shown you, because this blew my mind.
What is this?
So I typed in "Tell Me in Wrestling porn" because I thought if this is real, this should exist. Yeah. And what actually came up was a search that was. It's written in German for a start, and in is pushed together to create the word mine. But it came up with a search with "Tell Mine Wrestling," and I was absolutely gobsmacked.
We are Rule 34 consistent.
We are.
Yeah.
Blowjobs. I want to read that out. Blowjobs in Natural Escort von Aller, Kent mit Nikki Blow, einen Gifts, Sean D. Pov Pleasured, Tell Mine Wrestling, Brewster D. Blondinen, Lecker Talia, Hitzer, Fisten.
I'm pretty sure Lecker is each as well.
Last MILF, 38G, College, 34H. I have no idea what that means.
No. Anyway, I didn't click on the link. I have no idea what the video was.
Another one of the Rule 30, well, it's the reverse of it. It was something that I wanted to talk to you about. So it was something that came up on my Twitter feed the other day. Obviously, you guys have watched 30 Rock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Years ago, yeah.
Yeah, years ago. And one of the random TV shows that was suggested on that was a TV show called MILF Island. And
right.
And basically, it was just like shortened MILF Island. And it was something like 25 MILFs, 50 young guys. Just let them hide. That's actually happened.
Now a thing.
It's now a thing called MILF Manor. And basically,
they've classed it up a little bit, at least.
Yeah, they've classed it up.
Or they just couldn't afford the island.
Yeah. It's 8 MILFs in a manor, and so the trailer is it plays out, and then there's a huge twist, and the twist is the 8 young guys are the sons of the MILFs.
No.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I'm not into any of those types of TV shows, but I definitely want to watch this now.
That sounds worth a watch.
That's basically what all of porn is at the minute.
It's pretty much, isn't it? Yeah.
It's MILFs. It's sleeping with people who you may or may not be related to.
Is it?
Cheerleaders. Well, I was going to bring this up. There's a sensible point in all this absolute filth. But you know how I did the names before of fake films. Now,
Yeah.
because when you're looking for porn, it is very much based on optimal searches. So they'll just basically put in stepsister, stepbrother, MILF, cheerleader, college, and they're the things that. So if you had a porno and it was titled something like "My Cheerleading Stepsister and MILF," like, you're going to get more hits because that's what people are searching for. They're not looking
what
for
you're saying is
parodies and
the
shit.
the art of porn names is gone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That is a shame.
and I've tried to bring them back in this episode because I think it's
I
a
think you've
lost
done a
art.
bloody good job.
I mean,
You've done a
there you
bloody
go.
good job.
I mean, how long have I been talking about wanting to do this episode for? I wrote that game
you have,
in about August.
Yeah.
You've found your calling in life. This is it, really.
Being a bit rude and smutty.
Getting back into work, and it's like, right, do you know what? Screw universal credit. It's like, what bloody job? It's like I'm creating. I'm renormalizing porn names. I'm putting the puns back in porn.
Trying to use this episode where if I have to ever go to the job centre, it's like,
yeah, this is your
evidence.
Yeah. People have to produce their CV or produce proof. What's proof of trying to look for work? Episode 34 of my podcast.
Yeah.
I think you'll find that I wrote some pretty good porn names the other week. Well done. Okay, that's it from your favourite wrestling porncast.
With a lad from Hull.
But for this week, we are all tapping out.